Listen, do you hear that tiny melody drifting down from above? It's coming from the attic, where the forgotten doll is waking up right now. Close your eyes with me. Let the darkness settle around you like an old blanket. Feel the house grow quiet, except for that soft creak. Creak. Upstairs. Tonight, I'm going to whisper a story that grandparents warn children never to speak aloud, about a doll left in the attic for far too long, and what happens when she finally opens her eyes again. The house was called Willow End, a tall Victorian mansion on the edge of a sleepy town called Greystone Hollow. It had stood for over 150 years, watching families come and go, secrets buried in its walls. Our story begins with Clara, a young woman in her late 20s who had just inherited the house from her great-aunt Evelyn, whom she barely remembered. Clara arrived on a rainy autumn evening, keys heavy in her hand, suitcase trailing behind. The realtor had warned her the place needed work. Pipes groaned, floors creaked, electricity flickered, but Clara needed a fresh start after her divorce. She stepped inside, the air thick with the scent of old lavender and dust. That first night, she explored room by room, finding faded photographs, locked drawers, trunks of yellowed letters. Everything felt frozen in time, as if Aunt Evelyn had simply vanished one day. Clara saved the attic for last. The narrow staircase groaned under her weight, each step echoing like a warning. At the top, a heavy door resisted before swinging open with a mournful sigh. The attic was vast, sloping ceilings, exposed beams draped in cobwebs, trunks and crates stacked like forgotten graves. Moonlight spilled through a small circular window, painting everything silver and cold. Clara's flashlight beam danced across the space, catching on a rocking horse with one eye missing, a cracked mirror reflecting nothing, and then her light landed on the doll. She sat perfectly upright on a small wooden chair in the center of the room, as if waiting. Porcelain face pale as bone. Rosy cheeks faded, golden curls dusty but intact. She wore a velvet burgundy dress with lace collar. Tiny black shoes polished as if new. Her glass eyes stared straight ahead, unblinking. Clara felt a strange pull, like recognition. She approached slowly, heart beating oddly fast. A small brass plaque on the chair read, "Amelia, 1887. Clara whispered, "Hello, Amelia," and for a moment, she could have sworn the doll's head tilted, just slightly. She laughed at herself, nerves from the long drive. But as she turned to leave, she heard it, the faint, tinkling melody, like a music box, playing 3 notes, then stopping. Clara froze. The sound had come from behind her. She spun. But the attic was still, only the doll watching. That night, in the master bedroom far below, Clara tried to sleep. Rain lashed the windows, thunder rumbled, and somewhere above, she heard it again. The same 3 notes, softer, closer. She told herself it was the house settling. Old pipes, wind, anything but the doll. The next morning, sunlight made everything seem ordinary. Clara drank coffee in the kitchen, exploring more boxes. She found Aunt Evelyn's journal, entries from decades ago, mentioning a doll named Amelia, a gift for a child who never came. Evelyn wrote, "Sometimes I hear her singing upstairs, but it's only memory." Clara felt a chill despite the sun. She returned to the attic, determined to prove it was nothing. The doll sat exactly as before, but the music box beside her was now open. Clara was certain she hadn't touched it. She picked up the doll gently, surprised by how cold the porcelain felt. As she held Amelia, she noticed something stitched inside the dress collar. A tiny fabric heart with faded initials. E.W. Evelyn's childhood doll? Clara smiled sadly and placed her back on the chair. That evening, as storm clouds gathered again, Clara worked in the study. Suddenly, the lights flickered 3 times. Then, from above, the melody began. Not 3 notes this time. A full lullaby, slow, sweet, heartbreaking. She grabbed a flashlight and climbed the stairs. The attic door was ajar. Moonlight flooded the space. The doll was no longer on the chair. She sat on the floor, facing the staircase, as if waiting for Clara to arrive. Clara's breath caught. Wind must have knocked her over, she whispered, but there was no wind inside. She picked Amelia up, and that's when she saw it. A tiny tear in the doll's dress, revealing something inside the torso. Not stuffing. Old photographs rolled tightly. Heart-pounding, Clara unrolled them carefully. Images of young girls, from different eras, all holding the same doll. The last photo, dated 1923, showed a little girl with Clara's eyes. Her great-grandmother? On the back, handwritten, "Amelia keeps us safe, until we forget her." Clara felt dizzy. She looked at the doll in her hands. Amelia's glass eyes seemed deeper now, almost liquid, and for the first time, the painted mouth curved upward. That night, Clara couldn't sleep. The lullaby played continuously from the attic, growing softer when she moved toward the stairs, louder when she retreated. She finally crept upstairs, flashlight trembling. The doll sat in the moonlight circle, rocking gently, though no breeze stirred the air. "Stop it," Clara whispered. The rocking ceased instantly. Silence, heavy as guilt. She approached, anger mixing with fear. "What do you want?" The doll's head turned, slowly, smoothly toward her voice. "Porcelain shouldn't move like that." Clara backed away, heart thundering. She fled downstairs, locked her bedroom door, piled furniture against it. But at 3 a.m. exactly, she heard soft footsteps overhead. Tiny shoes, pattering across the attic floor. Then, down the stairs. One step. Pause. Another step. Pause. The footsteps stopped outside her door. Silence. Then 3 soft knocks. Knock, knock, knock. Exactly like the warning in old family stories Aunt Evelyn used to tell. Clara held her breath. The doorknob rattled gently. A child's voice, sweet but wrong, whispered through the keyhole. "You forgot me? But I never forgot you." Clara screamed, grabbed her phone. No signal. The voice continued, singing the lullaby now right outside. She backed into the corner, watching in horror as the door bowed inward slightly, as if something small but impossibly strong pushed. Morning came gray and silent. The door was intact. No footprints. Clara searched the house frantically, finding nothing, until she returned to the attic. The doll sat innocently on her chair again. But now, Clara's modern phone lay beside her, screen cracked in a perfect heart shape, and stitched newly into the doll's dress. A fresh fabric heart with Clara's initials. Clara understood then. Amelia didn't want to hurt her. She wanted to keep her, like all the girls before, who came to Willow End alone, and never truly left. Some nights now, if you drive past the old Victorian mansion on the edge of Greystone Hollow, you might see a warm light in the attic window, and hear a lullaby carried on the wind. Inside, 2 figures sit together, one grown, one porcelain, rocking gently, waiting for the next lonely soul who inherits the house, and forgets to say goodnight to the doll in the attic. But you, listening now, you're safe. For tonight, just remember, if you ever hear 3 soft knocks at 3 a.m., don't answer. And whatever you do, don't forget to say goodnight to the forgotten things upstairs. Now, let the lullaby fade, let your eyes grow heavy, and sleep deeply, knowing some dolls never truly sleep at all. Good night.